Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. We're going to have a rehouse today and we are going to do the Amazonius burgessi, which is the Colombian tree spider. Very pretty spider this. So we have a female that we got in recently and it's been in our quarantine box and it's about time it came over into its nice new home. So we are going to do a nice little planted enclosure in this 20 by 20 by 30. It's all been absolutely crazy this week. We're all getting ready for Christmas. Everyone's going mad. Right, so we are going to start off. We are just going to put some soil in here. So this is just cocoa fibre and some potting compost. Look at that. Right, it's actually used up the last of that, so we have to make some more up. And as you'd have remembered, we actually we mix this up ourselves, and we often get asked, you know, what quantities of, you know, different things do you put in? And I'll be totally honest with you guys, it really doesn't matter. You know, I think people get far too wrapped up in trying to replicate things exactly. All I ever do when I'm mixing this stuff up is I mix it to the consistency and the texture that I like, depending on what I'm doing. You know, if I've got something that likes a lot of humidity or whatever, I tend to put a bit more in the way of potting compost in there, because that tends to hold the water more. If I want it to be a bit drier, then I stick a bit more cocoa fibre in there. It all depends on what we're doing, depends on how we mix it up. But the idea is just to make it how you like it. So we are going to put 2 bits of bark in here, I think. So we are going to give our spider the opportunity to go wherever it wants, and we're going to put that one in there like that. So what we want, we're going to try and make, we've noticed this spider's quite shy, so we are going to give it extra places to hide. We're going to put a plant in here as well, which we are going to stick right in the front here, and hopefully this will give it a little bit more, make it feel a little bit more secure, so we can use our plants just to bolster up spaces. Now one thing is, we found these plants here, they do like a bit of water, so look at that, that literally just fills that. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do, now we picked these plants up, we noticed we've used a couple of these plants recently, and we picked these plants up at the Brighton show when we were there, from Natalie Muir, who you might well recognise the name. She does a fair bit of breeding and whatnot, and she ended up with a whole load of plants, and I saw her when she was setting up her table and what have you, and I was like, I need to get over there and get some of them, and then I forgot, and then by the time it was getting on late in the day, it was almost end of the show, and I was like, I do need to go over and get some plants, and luckily she still had some left, and they're absolutely wonderful. I think we had these, I think it was 3 for a tenner, I think they were, so nice and cheap as well, and absolutely wonderful. It's difficult to get decent plants these days. A lot of the stuff that we see isn't particularly good. So when I saw these, I was like, that is a must-have. We've got to have them. So next time you're at the show, check her out. She's quite often, she has a table at most of the shows, I believe. And yeah, check her out, especially for the plants. She had a whole host of plants there. I'll definitely be going back and getting some more, that's for sure. Right, so we're going to put that bit of moss in there. Now, the Colombian Tree Spider. It does like quite a moist environment. So we are going to literally cover this top piece up here with moss.
You say moist environment, is that different to humidity?
Well, humid environment, yeah, sorry. It likes a humid environment, and our plant here actually likes quite a moist substrate in the bottom. So we can do both with this. One will complement the other because we need to keep our plant nice and moist, and that in turn will make sure that we keep our enclosure nice and humid as well. I do like that. Look at that. That looks lovely, doesn't it?
It's very pretty.
Very, very pretty. Now we've given our spiders plenty of spaces here. We will put a backboard on. We do have some here. We'll have to grab one. And we'll put a backboard on, and that will give this spider a little bit more security. So we're going to get our glue gun now. A nice big dob of hot glue. There we go. And I'm going to put this in there, like so. There we go. Now then, we're going to give this a really good watering because the soil that we put in was actually quite dry. So we're going to give this a really, really good soaking. And that will help increase the humidity straight off. So what we're hoping for now is we're going to soak this moss. This will in turn drain down into our soil layer in the bottom here. You can see the water coming through. See, it's all coming through in there now. Give our plant a good watering as well. That'll do it. That'll do it. What we do now is we're just going to clean up that. Now you see how quickly we've done this. It doesn't take long to set one of these tanks up. There we go. Look at that. Right then, so now what we're going to do, we are going to get an empty cricket box, and this is so that we can catch our spider up, because I'm not sure, it's quite a nervous spider, and I'm hoping, oh, it's actually on the piece of wood. Oh, we might not need a box after all. Okay, all right, that's good. Remember, if we can move our spider without having to use catch boxes or catch cups, it's so much better. I put that there. You should be able to get a lovely, lovely shot of that. There you go. So what we've done now is we've balanced that.
She's free.
She is free. She is free to go wherever she likes. We're going to get a bit of light on her now. Look at that.
You can see too.
What an absolutely beautiful spider. Now this is a female. And you can see the colouring. Look at the red on the abdomen. Absolutely lovely. Now I'm hoping that once she gets into this enclosure, she will start to feel secure, and we will then hopefully start to see a little bit more of her. Now, an interesting thing is, one of the things that I've noticed in a few conversations on Facebook recently, people have rehoused their spiders, and then they're panicking because they haven't seen them for 3-4 days from when they first put them in. This is perfectly natural. We expect our spider to disappear, go and hide, you know, and just basically hide away until they start to feel secure, and then they'll come out. You can pretty much guarantee that your spider comes out at night, has a little wander around, sees what's going on, and then disappears long before you get out of bed. So don't be panicking.
The eyes are on the top of the carapace there.
Yeah, you can see them.
Wow.
She's absolutely beautiful, isn't she? So what we're going to do now is we are going to try and get a couple of pictures of our wonderful spider. So yeah, if you don't see your spider, don't worry. There we go. Right, perfect. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get our trusty paintbrush, and we're going to move her.
We're going to lose it once she's in there.
Yeah, we've got some lovely shots of her. If you want to come round this way, you stay that side. I will bring her. There you go. She is very, very in tune with any kind of movement. So what we're going to do now, as you can see, see that little bit of web in there that's stuck to her leg. So what we're going to do now is we are going to pop this in here. It's a bit of a funny shape, isn't it? And we're going to see if we can't. You good there?
Yeah, I think this ain't. Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can't get a move. We've made contact. Look at that. Now she doesn't want to move. Here we go. So we're going to just ask her to move along nice and gently. There we go. She's like, I'm really not sure about all this. Okay, we'll see if we can get her to go backwards. See if we can back her up onto that piece of wood there. As is quite typical, they don't want to leave the piece that they're on. See if we can get her to go backwards. So what we're doing now is we are maintaining that contact, and we're just gently easing her backwards. There we go. You can do it, you know. Once we get her legs on there. There we go. You're almost there. You see we're moving the bark now at the same time. There you go. And she's on there. We're in.
And she stayed pretty for us.
So as you can see there, we've moved her over. There you go.
Lump on her abdomen.
Yeah, she looks like she's got a lump or something going on with her abdomen there.
Try and get in for you.
I'm not quite sure what that is. Maybe we'll see that in a molt. And we'll see if it disappears. But that is quite a strange thing.
They can't be like, you know, snakes sometimes get bugs inside.
Yeah, sometimes you can get parasites that will cause problems. We'll keep an eye on that and we'll see how she goes. So what we'll do now is we'll feed her up and see if we can't promote a molt once she gets settled in, and then hopefully it's nothing too much to worry about. But that is quite a lump there. So yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to see. Now, I mean, it comes back to the question that we get with many of our spiders. We just don't know. You know, there's stuff going on that we have absolutely no idea of, and it's very, very hit and miss. And you know, you might sort of sit there and think, well, what can we do about that? Well, the first thing about knowing what to do is understanding what the problem is in the first place. And with something like this, we don't necessarily know what the problem is. Or even if it is a problem, it might just be an abnormality within her abdomen, which might just sort itself out for, you know, through a molt. Or it could be something that's life-threatening to our spider, but we don't know. So it's not an easy thing to actually sit and try and work out what we can do. All we can do is monitor it and hopefully provide everything else to make sure that she has a happy, stable life, and keep an eye on it and just see what goes on. Which brings us to one of the questions that we often see on the Facebook groups when people lose their spiders. You know, unfortunately, it is part of the hobby, and you know, we do lose spiders from time to time. Sometimes they just die for no apparent reason. We've had spiders before where we've kept them the same species, literally side by side, and they're all doing perfectly well, and then for whatever reason one of them just curls up and dies, and you're left scratching your head and you're wondering, you know, why did that die? Everyone else is perfectly happy, everyone else has been kept exactly the same, that spider was in perfect condition. Why did it die? We have no idea. And one of the things that we have to accept is that our knowledge of internal problems with arachnids is almost non-existent. You know, we really don't understand that much. When you look at things like reptiles and stuff, we have a far better knowledge of what goes on with parasites and bits and pieces like that. With arachnids, it's an entirely different thing, and the information really isn't there. So all we can do is try and provide an ideal environment in which to keep our spiders. Once we've done that, that is literally where the limit of our husbandry is seated at the moment. You know, there's so much more to learn, and also sometimes I think with these are creatures that are bred in massive numbers in the wild, and you're going to get a mortality rate. There is a natural thing there that actually keeps them in check. So for a sack that has 200 odd more slings, we're not going to expect 200 of them to survive. In reality, out of that 200, if 10% or so, I don't know, I mean, we're guessing 10, 15, 20%, if they made it to maturity and bred themselves, that would be quite a high number. You've got to remember, when there's 200 in a sack, and in the wild state there might be 1,000 sacks produced, that's an awful lot of slings. So the mortality rate within them is quite high, and that in turn mirrors in captivity as well. So sometimes it's not all about what you're doing. Sometimes it might just be that that spider was not destined to live the full length of its life, as hard as it might sound. Right, well, she's actually sat there and she seems quite chilled out there. Very interesting, because when I picked her up in the box to have a look at her and check her out, she was very, very skittish, but she didn't show any of that while she's in there. So then, we're going to keep her out now. Temperature wise, we're looking in the mid-70s upwards. They do like it reasonably warm. Humidity wise, we are again looking at quite a high humidity, between 70 and 80. We'll keep these perfectly happy. Remember to with your humidity, it doesn't mean it needs to be soaking wet. She still needs a dry area. We keep saying this. Your spiders must have a dry area in which to relax and rest. Humidity is in the air. That's what's keeping them going. And humidity doesn't directly keep them hydrated. They need to drink. They've got to have drinking water, and they need to feed on nice, good quality food. This is where they're getting their hydration from, not from the air humidity. People get the two confused. You must separate them and understand that, you know, when your spider's hydrated, it's got that from drinking and it's getting it from its food. This is why quite often the information is very, very poor when people have got spiders that are having trouble with molting, and you hear all these people going online and they're like, you know, up the humidity, soak your enclosure. It will make no difference whatsoever
other than drown it
to your molting spider, apart from stress it out. So whatever you do, don't fall into that trap of thinking humidity is hydrating your spider. It isn't. It's very much not. Right, so that's that. Food wise, this girl here, she's pretty much adult. She's a little bit bigger than this. She will take on red runners, dubias, anything like that. But nice active food. I find with these sort of guys, the more active the food, the better these are going to do. And they'll physically come out and hunt for it as well. So it's something we like to see as well. Right. We will keep a close eye on her abdomen and keep you informed. Right. Talking of abdomens, look at the size of the abdomen on this girl here.
Let's see if I can get her. So she typically wanted to set up at the light.
Yeah. She is literally, I'll put my hand there, whopping great big abdomen. Come round here.
I think we can see. This is a good angle. We've got her.
Now she hasn't long, she's just had a nice big cricket. And actually while we're on her, many people have said, like, you know, don't she sort of wander around your room? No, she doesn't. She's set up on this light bar. She's perfectly happy up there.
I'll show you in a sec.
That light bar is giving out a little bit of heat as well, which I'm pretty sure she's really enjoying. You see the cable from the other light?
Not yet, we're getting some close-ups.
So she's literally built her web in this area here. And she doesn't go far at all. Now the other thing that we've been asked is, how about this fly paper? Do we not worry about her getting caught up in this fly paper?
Basically, she is.
And no, we don't. She don't go anywhere near it. And even our old one before, when we had one, she never went near the fly paper either. So whether they can actually sense them or something, maybe, I don't know. But there is enough anchor points that she doesn't go anywhere near that. And she will always stay up in the centre of her web. And that is where she lives. So she doesn't wander around. And people often say about, you know, are they difficult to keep? These golden orb weavers are probably the easiest spider to keep. They are so simple. Once she's set up home, she's got her web. She's happy. She ain't going anywhere. And all we do is we throw a cricket up onto the web. She comes down, grabs it, and that is it. If we want to spray her, we can mist the web and she will get droplets of water from that and drink from that. We found that we don't really spray the web. She gets all of her moisture through her food, but we do gut load.
It's humid in here as well, isn't it?
It is humid in here, yeah. I mean, the actual humidity in this room is around about 60 to 65% at any given time. So that's more than enough. And this, again, this is actually a really good point, that with humidity, we don't need to chase the numbers. We are looking within a region. We are looking within parameters. So for our golden orb weaver, anywhere between 50 and 80 or even 90% humidity, she is going to favour. She is going to be perfectly happy within that range. That is a huge, huge humidity range. Massive. But as long as they've got their food and they've got good gut loaded food, so they hydrate through their food, they are going to be perfectly fine.
Would you say she's fat or nice?
No, she's lovely. She's lovely. What you do find with these guys is they do get a real big bulbous abdomen on them. And what we do is we keep an eye on that. So as she is now, we look at her abdomen and we say, right, we don't need to feed her at the moment. As her abdomen shrinks down, we will then feed her again and it will grow up again. So we just keep an eye on her abdomen, and we can do that with all of our spiders. This is what we keep saying in our videos. Look at your spider. That will tell you whether it needs feeding or not. You know, forget all this business about I need to feed once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Forget all that. Look at your spider. Your spider will tell you when it needs feeding. Right. Well, I think we've had about enough of that. Don't forget, this Friday, so that's tomorrow, we will be on Scott's channel, Scott's Inverts, and we are doing a live, and that will be at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. UK time.
You got all fuddled then, didn't you?
I did, yeah, I did. I got all a bit of a mix up. It's been a very busy day.
He's hungry.
And I'm hungry, yeah. So yes, pop over to Scott's Inverts, and I think we're just going to have a general chat about the year, all the things that have been going on, anything to do with the spiders and all of that. So if you can get over there, it's going to be a fun evening. Get your questions down, you know, put your comments in, and we'll try and answer as many as we possibly can. But it should be a fun time. So make sure you get there, and I will see you there tomorrow. Don't be late. 8 o'clock. Right. Don't forget. Be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.